Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. This is the first and hopefully many. My name is Sean from IGDA Malaysia, and this is the Game Dev Spotlight for August. It's the first. Hopefully, this will continue in the future months. We may face a couple of technical difficulties, as you can hear. There's an echo there, but hopefully things just go smoother from here. Today we have 4 guests. Joining with us today is Eldritch Sendirian Berhad, Twilight Foundry, RoundTable Games, and Play Interactive. So I'm just going to go through the agenda right now. So it's going to be hopefully a little over 2 hours today. I'm going to start with addressing some things as the chapter coordinator of IGDA about where we're at in the industry, what we're doing, what's been happening, and what I hope to hopefully achieve on this platform with you guys. And at 9:10, we'll start with Eldritch Sendirian Berhad, which will share with us a little bit about their games, and then we're free to take any questions for 10 minutes, and then the session will continue in the similar format with RoundTable Games, Twilight Foundry, Play Interactive, and we'll end it with a short note from IGDA as well. So, a little note from IGDA. If you're new to the industry, let's talk about what is IGDA. IGDA is the International Game Developers Association. It is the world's largest non-profit membership organization serving all individuals who create games, like you and me. And our mission is basically to advance the careers and enhance the lives of game developers by connecting members with their peers, promoting professional development, advocating on issues that affect the developer community. So creating community events like this is something I do to connect our peers, our fellow developers together to share knowledge and really just to help each other out to succeed in the game industry. And yes, before it all went down, we actually gathered a lot. On the top left, you can see that's the usual game dev hangout that we do every 2 months back in starting from 2015 until 2020 or early 2020, right before the pandemic. And usually we have about 60 70 people turn up in that one space where people would just bring their laptops, pull out the games, and grab people to play test their games and just share some industry knowledge. On the top right, you have a presentation going on. People are sharing their knowledge there. And the bottom left is where we all started. That's the first Game Dev Hangout, where we kind of invaded coffee shops without any prior notice, and in fact got kicked out of one, unfortunately. We also host game jams. At the bottom right, you can see this Global Game Jam 2019. We've done a lot of game jams since the beginning of IGDA, in fact. And we actually have a game jam coming up next month that I hope you guys will join. So just to give a little background and history to IGDA. IGDA was started by Brett Beebe. Brett Beebe on the left side. He is now the Chief Product Officer at Unity. He's the one who started IGDA. No one asked him to. It's completely voluntary. And the strange thing about IGDA is that it feels like there's if you're familiar with Star Wars, like there's a rule in the Sith lore that there's a rule of 2. And I think at Brett's time, it was just Brett and Hilmi. And during Hilmi's time, it was just Hilmi and Buzz. And during Buzz's time, it was Buzz and me. And I'm still looking for my sort of Sith Padawan to join me in my journey. So what we've been doing throughout this many years is really, trying to build our community and trying to empower game devs in the country. And because we really believe that Malaysia as a country deserves to showcase what it can do in the games industry. Second after Brett Beebe is Hilmi. Following that is Buzz, and in 2017 I was fortunate enough to take over the IGDA platform in Malaysia. We're always looking for passionate game developers who believe in our mission. So if you are interested to volunteer, as we have always done in the past 20 years, we're looking for future passionate developers to help continue this journey here. So reach out to me at IGDA Malaysia. So before we get to our speakers, I'd like to do a little ad here about C Game Jam. This is a game jam that's happening next month on the 10th of September to 12th of September. It is the largest game jam event in Southeast Asia. We usually have participants from all over Southeast Asia, from Singapore, Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, and more, sometimes all the way from Taiwan and China. Participants will receive, whether you win the grand prize or not, you will receive a free access pass to Level Up KL, which is an annual game conference held in Kuala Lumpur for game developers to showcase their games. And you can come in as a preformed team or come as an individual. So you can come as a preformed team of 5 developers. You can be of any discipline, from designer, writer, graphic designer, programmer, or what have you. So you can find more details at the link below. And I'll also leave the link at the end of this video as well. We've had like over 100 participants back in 2020, and we hope to hit that number or even surpass that this year. So hopefully you guys will join us. The schedule is pretty simple. The registration deadline is until end of this month, where we will actually filter who will be able to participate in the jam. After that, we will onboard our participants into a Discord channel, and the theme will ultimately be announced on the 10th of September at about 8 p.m. at night, and that's when you start to jam. So you have the whole weekend to jam, and the presentation will actually be done live, like what you see now, like a live Facebook Live demonstration. In fact, we have 2020's C Game Jam presentation somewhere in the IGA site, so you can check that out. And straight after that, I think, not after that. The Game Jam winners will actually be announced in Level Up KL 2021 a few weeks later. So feel free to register, and hope to see you as part of the party. Okay, so I think we're just about at the right mark. I'm going to bring in our first speaker, Joseph from Eldridge Sendirian Berhad. So I'll go ahead and stop my share and bring Joseph in. Hey! Joseph, are you there?
Yep. I'm having problem with my video camera. Gosh. Give me a second. Let me see if I can start it. Oh.
So if you guys have any questions later during Joseph's presentation, feel free to leave it in the comments. You'll see that I'll occasionally look to the side to my phone to scout for comments and questions, which I will bring up to Joseph.
Right. I'm so sorry. I think my camera just died.
It's okay. We can move on to just straight go to the slides.
I mean, I don't really have
slides. Oh yeah, you didn't have slides. No worries. I mean, as long as we can hear your voice, I think everyone hears you loud and clear. So,
yeah.
If you want, I can try and bring up. I mean, we could at least share your game to set some context, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Here is. I mean, we'll just play the demo trailer first of our the game that we're currently working on. It's called Malice. Right, can you guys see this? Is it sharing screen?
Yes, it's sharing.
All right.
Oh wow, that was a abrupt stop.
Okay.
Adds to the creepiness. So tell us about your studios and your game.
Right. So my name is Joseph from Eldritch Games. Our studio started about I think I should say 4 or 5 years ago, around 2016. We started by two person, one myself, Joseph, and the other person is my brother, Caleb. And we started off just making mobile games, and then a few funny games here, casual games here and there. We've released about, I think, 4 or 5 really casual mobile games where mostly it's funny games like where you collect heroes and then you play uh, like a space ranger and explore different planets and stuff like that. So it wasn't until 2020 that we started to look into some of our more serious passions, which is PC games. So a little bit about myself. I'm actually a escape room designer, formerly an escape room designer. So one of our ideas was actually to bring escape room puzzle solving into sort of like the virtual realm. We used to design escape rooms. We used to run escape rooms. So we thought that might be a really good experience for a lot of gamers out there. So and I myself really love horror. So any kind of horror media, we watch a lot of horror movies and series. So the idea came from a lot of, I guess you could say, Southeast Asian horror, and then also, of course, yeah. So the game that we have right now is called Malice. It is a sort of like escape room style puzzle game with a Japanese theme that, of course, you can see with the trailer. So what we want to actually create would be something. It's more of a puzzle game first rather than a horror game, because a lot of horror games out there right now is just mainly focused on the horror aspect of it, right? A lot of jump scares, a lot of ghosts popping up at you, a lot of loud noises, right? So what we want to do is to create a sort of like a an escape room with a strong narrative, with a strong story element where people can actually put themselves into the game world that we've created. The story is really important to us. We've placed a lot of narrative elements within the game. We want it to be first and foremost a puzzle game as well, where players are just put into this environment where they have to observe everything, they have to inspect everything, they have to pick up everything, and they have to sort of like rack their brains to sort of figure out the environment, figure out the clues that were left behind, and try to survive that way. So we felt that that was the spirit of Escape Room, where players, we just throw them in. There's no tutorial. There's no WASD teaching you how to move and sprint within the game itself. It's just the players figuring stuff out for themselves as part of the puzzle as well. So the horror aspect of it is just, you could say if you're designing an escape room, that would be the theme of the escape room. It's not necessarily the feature of the game, but of course we love horror atmosphere. We love the feeling that it gives people, the adrenaline that pumps when something really creepy happens or something that gets under your skin, right? So that would be an overview of Malice. We've launched a demo on itch.io, so you guys can actually check out the link later if I'm able to show that. And then I think there's a few YouTubers and Twitch streamers that picked it up, and the response is pretty encouraging for us. And we are actually aiming to make the game a co-op game where two-person will solve mysteries and puzzles together, right? So do follow us. We will be publishing on Steam soon as well, just the demo first, right? So if you can, do give us a follow on the Steam page as well. Yep, that would be most of it, Sean.
Cool. Thanks. And again, for everyone watching, you can leave any questions you have for Joseph in the comments. There will be a little bit of delay, but when we see your comments or your questions, I will do my best to bring it up. So, Joseph, a couple of questions. I think the most obvious is your game is only available on itch.io, which is... oh, I see your webcam's working now.
I'm not sure what's going on.
I see your game's on itch.io. What was the plan for that? Is that part of like a beta testing or early access before you actually were you testing the response to your game before actually building it for Steam?
Yeah. That was the initial idea, just to see how the market will respond to something like this. There are similar games that's like ours, but it's quite scarce. And then there is a few that did really well, and thought that might be something that we could get into as well. So it's not really like the genre itself is niche, I suppose, like escape room co-op puzzle with a horror element. Yeah, so we thought put it on itch.io, see how it goes. I think the response has been encouraging so far.
Okay, we have a question from Alex Dunn. How do you secure funding? Has your game always been self-funded?
Right. Okay. Funding. That's we are constantly looking for a source of funding, because right now our company is self-funded. There are some people, there are angel investors, I would say, that has taken some risks and some faith in us, believing that we can do this. But we are talking to a few parties to help us realize our game in terms of our finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. There's a technical question here. How does more of a design question really from Buzz? Hey Buzz.
Hi, Buzz.
Our previous chapter coordinator for IGDA. How does the planned co-op gameplay work? LAN, hot seat, online, or maybe Steam Remote Play?
The co-op would probably work via Steam multiplayer, so it's online. Not sure whether we do it for LAN yet, but right now we're focusing on how to get it to work over Steam. So yeah.
Okay. Jinzi asks, what inspired you to choose the Japanese setting? Oh, yeah, you did mention trying to bring in influences from Southeast Asia, but the game does have a Japanese influence to it. Tell us about that.
I guess I mean the story was written by one of my close friends, and I suppose there isn't really like a main inspiration for choosing Japanese first. I mean, we actually planned 4 different titles or scenarios, say, to escape room series that we actually have. So it just so happens that this Malice title happens to be one of our escape room themes that we had previously. We thought, I mean, that was one of our most well-liked theme. I would say the theme that did grow well during when we had our escape room business. So I guess that's why we chose it. And of course, one of my favorite genre of horror would be Japanese horror. Yeah, so that's why we chose it.
Okay, you're a popular person, Joseph. There's a lot of questions coming in. I think this one you answered during your presentation. John Tang asked, is the game psychological survival horror? Why is it horror? I think you answered saying you loved horror in general, right?
Yeah, I love horror in general, but the question was why is it psychological horror or something like that?
Yeah.
But I don't quite get the question.
I think it's really just asking why is it horror.
Why? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, man, I don't think I'll be able to ask my questions, but keep it coming. This is making my job easy. Alex, always the producer, asking, when will the game be fully released?
We are aiming for either end of the year or early next year. So, the game right now is it has 3 acts, I suppose. And what you saw, if you played the demo, that would be that would be sort of like part of Act 1. So there's 2 more acts that we are currently developing. Yeah, so hopefully we are able to develop the game or finish the game, say, by end of November. If not, then we'll probably target a release date for early January. Probably not in the middle of December, where all the major large releases come out and get flooded.
I think there's a question also about where you are in terms of development. I think you also partially answered that. There's Act 1 and there's another Act 2 will be the part that completes the whole package, is it?
Act 2 and Act 3.
Act 2, Act 3, yeah.
Yeah. So we're currently in full-on production mode, doing all the 3D assets, programming and implementation, animations, and all that. So, if you ask me, the game is probably at 50-60% complete. Yeah, with a lot more polish to go, I suppose. Hopefully we can do that, but it's a bit hard because of the pandemic situation. Everything is online on Discord. My workplace is Discord right now. My whole life is Discord.
I think, yeah, everyone can relate on that note. You said your friend wrote the story for your game. Was it hard translating a story written in paper to something that fits into gameplay?
I suppose my escape room designing experience came into play for that one. How we chose, how we select elements from the story to translate them into puzzles. So it wasn't terribly difficult, but to make it make sense in the world took a bit of a time. Took quite a bit of research, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay. Was there any difficulties? This is a question from the chat. Any difficulties? How do you gauge the timing for jump scares?
Oh, timing for jump scares. I personally don't really like jump scares, especially in movies. But there are jump scares that I would say earned. They would have a reason for the jump scare. I suppose if you want to time it, it has to have a certain amount of build up, and the implication of it has to be there. Like, I suppose what I'm talking about is if there's a jump scare, there better be a story element to it, or as to why this thing is coming towards you or making that loud noise. And if it's making that noise and it's making you scared, there has to be a secondary reason other than just I want to make you piss your pants a little bit. That's it for it. So yeah, I guess jump scares has to be heard. That's one thing, and how to pace it up. I would say keep it to a minimal where you build a lot of tension. You build a lot of suspense in the game first. A lot of audio cues, story elements that make the players go goosebumpish or whatever. Then you release the jump scare.
Okay. You have a question from Mr. PlayStation, Hasnol Hadi Samsudin, asking do you plan to bring it to consoles? If so, ask Buzz. I forgot to mention Buzz now works for PlayStation Studios Malaysia. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll be calling Buzz as well.
Okay.
Yeah. We do have plans to publish on consoles, although how and when it's not really in our planning right now. So we're just focusing on completing the game. But we do have plans.
Okay. How big is the team right now? You said it's you, your brother, and your friend.
We have a core of about 5 people. That includes programmers, artists. I myself is a IT graduate, I suppose. I think when I graduated, there wasn't any kind of a game development course available in the market. But I have an IT background, so I guess I know a little bit about programming. But I'm sort of like the producer now, sort of like trying to keep everybody together and on track. Then of course there is a team of interns as well that is on the game. Pretty good interns actually, pretty good, talented people all around.
Cool. Next question is, what about pricing? How do you decide on that?
How do I decide on that? I suppose it's a lot of market research, looking at similar games and how they price it, how they did with price. We haven't actually nailed down the price yet for our game. But I suppose it has to be cheap, right? Malaysians like cheap.
Yeah, but in Steam you can usually localize it, and they do that adjustment for you.
Yeah. I guess we haven't really thought about the pricing at this moment. Of course, we've given it some thought, but I think production right now is our topmost priority.
How long is the game right now, and as in the playtime, and ultimately, what is the ideal playtime for launch?
Wow. We initially designed Act 1 to last only 45 minutes. So the idea is to have 2 hard puzzles, 2 medium puzzles, 1 hard puzzle, 2 medium puzzles, and 2 easy puzzles. But the playtime I saw from a lot of YouTubers varies very the range is like super wide. So like there is people who completed it in like 30 minutes. We thought, okay, the puzzles was too easy or something like that. And then we have people who like walk around for like 3 hours. So that's just Act 1. And I mean, kudos to those who like stuck around for 3 hours, tried to complete the game. But yeah, we kind of designed each act to last for about 5 minutes. Yeah, so 3 acts, that would be about 2 hours. Around 2 hours.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that you were a escape room puzzle designer, right? So I'm guessing that kind of should have helped you in gauging how long an average player would have spent in the game, I suppose.
Yes, but I guess physical escape room takes a little bit more time. I mean, there are some differences quite that actually affects that. So, like for example, objects within a physical escape room don't really have an icon that pops up when you mouse over it. So you don't know whether that's important or not. So as opposed to our game, sometimes you have to, when you find something that is important, I guess you would have an icon prompt. So I guess that makes the game a bit more easier.
You know what? Something just came to mind. You should probably talk to Hazmir if you haven't already. The guy is an escape room nut. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He has stories of playing all kinds of escape rooms in Japan. So you wanna, it's probably a good idea to hit him up for some ideas or play test your game.
Right. Probably can get his contact from you later.
So we have Alex also again. When did you guys start development?
We actually started prototyping in in November of 2020, November in 2020. Yeah, we start developing the core gameplay and all that. So I suppose we launched our demo in June. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's a pretty good time. What was the major most challenging part of developing the game so far?
I would say getting the right people to do the right job, challenging. Our team is relatively small now, so we're often short-handed, or rather short of talents that comes into the company. I mean, I guess one of the difficulty would be retaining talents, retaining people within our company. So I don't know, like for example, there would be 3D artists that would leave for bigger companies, so there's better opportunities there, I suppose. Yeah, so small time developers like us, I mean not small time, like a smaller size developer like us, find it a bit hard to retain talent.
Okay, so you came from you first started on the mobile space, and now you're in PC. What do you feel about that transition? Is there anything you've learned in mobile, or actually, would you consider building a mobile version of this game?
We were toying with the idea, but not very sure. I mean, of course, there are successful games that is like that, but they're all, I don't know, kind of non-serious, kind of jokey, like the grandma game. So we are considering all different platforms. But for mobile, we do have the experience, so hard to say. Yeah.
Okay. Yi Xiang in the chat asks, is this game catered to more to horror fans, or are casual players who aren't familiar with horror but like puzzle solving, would they enjoy it too?
We try to keep the horror level to a moderate level. We don't want to go full on, go ham on the horror aspect of things. Like I said, it's a puzzle game first. We want to create a horror themed puzzle game. So if this was like a amusement park ride, this would be horror themed. So it's still a ride. That's the first thing. So if I guess we are looking for people. I mean, our target audience considered puzzle solvers, puzzle lovers, puzzle games. Yeah, and the fact that it is horror themed shouldn't. I mean, it's not that scary if you look at the gameplay lah. Of course, scariness and horrorness is subjective. People have different tolerance, I suppose.
I think it's a question about whether you've considered making a VR or AR version of this game.
Yeah, that was one of our original ideas actually, to have. I think it's pretty cool to have a VR escape room. Of course, that's already being done, but I do feel that we can add something to that market. Basically, creating an escape room in a virtual environment. Yeah, we are looking into doing that as well for this version.
Yeah, that question was from Darshan, and I'm surprised he wasn't asking something audio based. So audio, how are you guys doing your audio? Is it in-house or?
Yep. I suppose I'm the audio guy as well. So scouring internet for audio. Some are free, some are bought. Some I create myself. Especially some of the voice lines. We have the interns do it, which is fun. Then, yeah, ambience and items and all the objects audio are all created in-house, either from collections over the years, free sources, paid sources as well. Yeah.
And ultimately, what would define success for your studio?
Wow.
How would you define success? Yeah.
I would say if, of course, it has to be financially viable for us to keep on going. I mean, from the point of view of the investors, that has to be one of the criteria. But I suppose if enough people get that feeling of discovery, enough people talk about our games, I suppose that's a really good standard or marker of success for our game, for our company.
Okay. So we're almost hitting the 9:40 mark. Is there anything else you would like to share, Joseph? Are you guys recruiting at the moment?
We are. We're still trying to build a core team. Yeah, so we are going through applications. We're also going through internships to try to grow our team to be more core and stable. Yeah.
What are you mostly looking for in a candidate?
I would say attitude, the passion for making games, especially in Malaysia. There's not a lot of financial incentive to make games, but you know, the love of creating an experience for other people to experience it, right? So that would be one of the driving factors that I look for. I mean, skill-wise, everything can be learned online nowadays, I suppose. But you know, a passion to create games and to learn how to make what you want to make, that would be one of the main things that I'm looking for.
Okay. Cool. That has been really fun, Joseph. Thank you so much for sharing about your experience, your game, and your studio.
Thank you for giving the opportunity.
Next up, we have Edison from RoundTable studios or games. I can never figure out which one comes next. Edison, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi there. Hi there, Sean. One moment. Oh. Okay, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yep.
So, just a short presentation. Hi, so thank you, Sean, for giving me this opportunity, giving me and my studio this opportunity to share what we have done so far. So, my name is Edison Liu Jiayong, and I'm the founder and director of RoundTable Game Studio. So, who are we basically? So, RoundTable Game Studio is a studio that's founded in July 1st of 2020. So we strive to produce immersive narrative-driven games for gamers that pairs up with interesting game design to be part of our story. Well, and our mission is very simple. We hope that our choices in games or our story in games will keep you pondering awake of how you have chosen or what you've done in the game. So who are we? Practically, we are a 6-man team currently. Of course, we're going to expand in the future with me being the helm of this studio lah. And this is the rest of my team: Crystal, Justin, Adam, Joel, and Mandy. So first off, I'll introduce our first title that's released on Steam not too long ago called Dying Flame. So our game Dying Flame is that you play as a character named James Coffin, a struggling okay. Look. You play as a character named James Coffin, a struggling addict who wakes up in a decrepit mansion. You have to find your wife Mary, solve the puzzle within the mansions, and escape together. So yeah, so our game has released on Steam in March 2021, and we made use of the game engine called RPG Maker to make a horror theme element in there. You can check out our games via our QR code from our store page. So, what's next for our game? Well, currently, this is all I can share within the sneak peek of our next game. But one thing I can share, however, is this game revolves around puzzle element. In the near future, we will share this game more on our store, on our Facebook and our Instagram. So do keep up, do follow us and then keep up to date. So and that is all for now all I can show. Thank you very much. Okay.
Oh, that was fast. I haven't prepared my questions. Okay. So RPG Maker, I'm guessing the choice for that engine is probably because 3 of your teammates are designers. Am I correct?
Yes. Basically, Justin is the one who brought this game to my table, and then he said that he wants to make this game under my studio. So okay, we just try it and then we just do it.
By Justin's game, do you mean the current game you guys are working on, or the Dying Flame?
Yeah, Dying Flame.
Okay. Yeah, so your studio is pretty new. It's July. You established July 1st, but were you developing the game way before then?
Yes, practically this game has been developed for more than 3 years. But it's an on and off situation until because last year, since the pandemic hit and then everyone loses their job and everything, so we sit in a round table, dinner table basically. So we say that just why not just start the studio and just make this game. So basically, I just take the initiative, start the studio.
So everyone in your team was in this project from the very beginning?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Except for Mandy. Mandy was a later addition after this game release. But other than that, everyone was in this game lah.
Yeah, the trailer was great, by the way. The feeling, the tonality, and the pacing was really great. And it looks like we have a theme here. I know William's studio is really brand new as well, and he hasn't revealed the game yet. It could be horror. Wouldn't know. And questions are already flowing in. They love the pixel art. And there's a question about whether you guys would explore making 3D games in the future.
That would depend solely on resources, but we already have some artists who within our company and some who work with us have experience with 3D games. Though we are exploring to see how we will develop in the future, because some of our future games are still in development and one of them is still in prototype, and we are still experimenting to see whether is the 3D space working or 2D space working. We look at it in the artistic sense first before we ask ourselves, we want to go to this direction, and then juggle around. Because as the boss of this company, when you look at resources size view, you start sweating bullets like, should I push this thing or should I push not to push this thing? This kind of question lah. But I do hope that we will slowly push down to the 3D route, not just because it looks fancy, but it looks right for the game. Not in terms of story, how we want to tell a story, and how the gameplay will play out like.
Okay. But what about the story in terms of the development for the current game? Is it over? Is there no plans to take it further?
At the moment, no. At the moment, we are jumping to another project immediately after Dying Flame. So no plans at the moment to further develop, unless maybe there's more demand to know more of the story and everything, then we'll look into the content lah, and then develop further.
But why wouldn't you? Is there a reason why you're not considering other platforms to kind of widen the exposure or the audience?
For now, at the moment it's just because of our strict resources issue lah. The studio is very small. And we are only a handful of developers who only experience in small amount of space. So for now, we take it safe first. We are taking it safe first. We develop this one game and then we try to strive and understand, how does this platform, how does this space, how does this PC market work first? Before, let's say, once we understand how the PC market works, then maybe we'll consider pushing further for other platforms like Switch or mobile phones or even PlayStation or Xbox.
It's been about 20 years since I used RPG Maker, so I'm not sure, is it easy to port to Android or iOS?
For the game engine that we're using, as well, I wouldn't say it's easy, nor will say that it's, because there is an option that allows you to port to other platforms. For now, it's mobile, but I do see other games that I forgotten what its name, that is actually been ported to Switch before. We are actually read through it. There is a forum about people how to port to Switch, but we haven't delved that particular end in yet.
Okay, looks like we have a question from Alex again about production. What was your development time for Dying Flame?
Our development time is roughly around 9 to 10 months, roughly due to budgeting reasons, and also we've taken a long period of time.
On and off.
Yeah, and so we are a bit confident and say, okay, we will just try to develop within this period of time and then see how far we can go. Because of this short period of time, we understand how certain things needed to work, not just for production issue, but also for marketing and also publishing on the store. Because well, not one of us has any experience of publishing a game before, so we do need those experience. So we do want to know how these things work.
Okay. I really love these producer questions. Really, Alex, please keep them coming. He asks, sorry to ask also, how did you secure your funding for the game?
Well, for now, it's angel investors. For now, my dad is the one that is helping the funding, but with a limited resources lah. Of course, I cannot ask a huge sum under my lap. Otherwise, I would not have. I would think I would push Dying Flame a little bit more further, but well, due to resources restrictions, we only can do what we can do for now.
Are you guys looking for funding at the moment?
Yes, we are looking for funding for the other projects, basically internal projects that we're developing now, and we already asked a few publishers, and we're looking for their reply lah.
What's the plan for the next game like? It's the plan of attack. Yeah.
The next game currently we are planning to release next year as well. But we still haven't locked down a specific date yet. But we are focusing around early next year. We're also focusing on the same platform, Steam first. But because due to the switch of the engine now, we will look through more options about porting to other platforms. But at the moment, we're still focusing on Steam for now.
Okay. Someone asks, what is the most difficult aspect of development for Dying Flame?
Well, there is a lot. A lot that popping inside my head. But from my end, the most difficult aspect is to finding a good amount of testers to test out our game. Because basically, during the mid-production of Dying Flame, we hit a pandemic, and then everything is on lockdown, so we cannot go person to person and then tell them to come to our place and test. So we have to do some sort of QA paper lah, just to ask them to fill it up and say, okay, what is it that you like, what is it you don't like. We cannot get them. It's not easy to ask them. So you take a camera and then record their face expression and everything. So we have to go through our guts and our understanding lah, through the feedback form.
I think like Joseph, your game had a lot of streamers actually picked it up to play, right? Like,
Yes.
did you wish that actually happened maybe during beta and helped maybe informed you, like you said, lack of beta testers? Could they have helped?
They would have helped earlier on, but due to, again, before we're able to release our games out to the public, we also need to test internally because there is a lot of question. I think this will be a peak of the development discussion lah. Like, if let's say we release our game early, how would the public react? Like, because some people, like even some of the current games that I've been playing that is on pre-alpha, a lot of people already making a lot of very interesting comments to say like, this game's not good, like, why is it so buggy, I'm not going to buy your game. So this kind of Q&A, this kind of questions that people keep bombarding on other games, making us question like, should we release early or should we not? Because if let's say release early and then we didn't see some of the bugs that we test internally, we're gonna affect our image, this and that. So it's not an easy question to say that whether or not should we release to the streamers or not. For us, we are lot more comfortable releasing just for within close public area first. But so far, so far the closed public during that period of time is just not enough lah for us. So we have to consider how we should do our testing for the next phase.
Okay, but don't you feel that you could have pulled maybe a No Man's Sky on it? Like you could release an early access, get all that negative feedback, and then turn it around to something good. It's not something that you guys feel good about?
Due to our how to say, our planning phase lah, because we already have certain plan, and we already have our schedules about when is it we have enough time to fix all these bugs, or do we have enough time to, you know, extend the date. So it's a back and forth issues.
I see.
If let's say we pull off a No Man's Sky, we need a lot more time to do so. Then we need a lot more time. We need a lot more feedback on it lah. So yeah.
Okay, Kijon Senpai has a direct question about the sales on Steam.
Confidential.
Confidential. All right. I'll move on to Buzz from PlayStation. From the debut of the project, what are the do's and don'ts that you can share with us?
While debuting our game, try to find as many streamers as you can. That's number one, because these are the people who will technically shout past your game to more people to say that this is our game, and then this is how it plays out like. So far the streamers effects are well positive, thankfully. And second thing would be to find a lot of media personnel. So what I mean by media personnel is people who write articles who write blogs about games or any other content. Just find them, and then we just have them write up your game. They'll spread more. Their articles will spread more people within spaces like Facebook or Instagram or even Twitter, and then just find more. Third will be find good Steam good curators lah for your Steam. People who play horror games, they will actually help you write up your games, and then they will actually post it on your Steam review, say that okay, this is a good game or this is a bad game. That way you get more small amount of visibility to say that for people who search on their tag. So that's three of my do's lah. For don'ts, maybe not. I would not. At the moment, I could not think of anything that says don't do it. So, because if let's say you stop yourself and say don't do it, it kind of stop getting you. Because for me, I would say just approach to everyone. Just find more people to play your game, streamers, and any media personnel to promote your game.
Steam curators is something I've not heard of in quite some time. So it's interesting that you brought them up. So all these influencers, how easy has it? How difficult has it been to reach out to them? Do you guys do it like throughout development or towards the tail end of the game?
We do it towards the tail end again. I think this will be I think it's a good thing you brought it up here, because I think the don'ts part. Now I just thought about it when you make a mention is that don't do it at the tail end of the game. Do it as early as possible. Do it as during maybe a mid-production where you have a demo to show. Then you maybe can send out to Steam curators or send out to many influencers. Like just do it as early as possible. Like start showing your hand, says okay, this is my game. Please make a comment or please wishlist it, and do it as wide as you can, even though your budget says otherwise. But just try.
Any impact from TikTok? Is TikTok worth it?
We have not tried TikTok because we really do not know how TikTok influence work. So far, I have checked through TikTok end of how they do games, and not one of them seems to show up on my end saying that TikTok showing through TikTok works. I would say if you say TikTok, I wouldn't recommend it. I would say rather go through like Inger or 9gag or even Reddit forum posts. Like just a standard marketing 101. Just shortcuts. TikTok is I seen the platform and I just scratching my head and I like say I think I'm too old to figure out how TikTok works. Maybe if let's say I find find a younger marketeer to have how to say experience on using TikTok, maybe I'll consider it.
Okay. Adam Daniel asks, any publishers that you have approached? I think he's asking for names. Feel free to withhold information if you need to. But feel free to share too. We'd be happy to hear.
Well, at the moment I will not share any information for any publishers because so far I've reached out to them, but I mean they did reply to me, so I have to prepare certain things, but I won't be sharing at the moment about whom have I shared up to. Sorry about that.
Sure, no problem. Darshan asks, what's your favorite part of developing this game?
It's mostly through discussion. A lot of discussion handling over what certain puzzles can only work on certain areas, what certain puzzles, and then how we have to arrange, like, okay, before the player have to go through the sand puzzle area, we have to go through the dining hall area, like all the arrangement lah, because we have to talk through like how the pacing works, how the story will work, how the story will flow. So that would be the most interesting part lah.
Oh, Sherman Chin is in the house. Sherman's alive. You can probably
Hi,
get Sherman is saying you can probably get a slightly more private group of testers by building an online community, not Steam, because Steam players are savage, I guess from personal experience. You don't want to release it to the public to test. No, Sherman has a cult following for his game Alpha Kimori. If you guys are watching, Sherman is has the first Malaysian game on Steam called Alpha Kimori. That
yes,
I think
actually I have
around.
this game still inside my cabinet.
Yeah. I think it's an RPG Maker game as well. So Sherman Senpai, Sherman is your senpai.
Actually, one of my programmers also liked his game as well. Joel Wong. So I think he took some of the influence of it, making his game lah.
Okay, so I think you probably mentioned this before, but what was the main reason that you guys started RoundTable Games?
Well, firstly, it's due to pandemic situation lah. Basically, not all of us have. Some of us have a job issue situations, and second is the timing lah. I mean, one thing for sure is that my parents, especially for my dad, kind of pressured me into starting a studio. So I'll say, okay, fine, I'll start a studio then. Second is that, well, most of us will want to make our own games. So this is good time as any to start a game studio lah. Everyone will start working on home, and then everyone pitch in and just develop a game.
What's your hope for the next game?
Well, I mean, everyone's hope is to gain as much visibility as possible, and hopefully everyone will play our game. That's our single hope lah.
You mentioned a switch in engine, right? So, what was it again?
Unity.
Right. What was the reason for that change?
I think basically through our last discussion, we're just thinking that how would our next game, because based on our short prototype that we all make and all we discuss together, we think that Unity might be a more suitable platform just because of the wide array of artistic choice that we can produce for Unity, much more better than for time being RPG Maker. So we're thinking that let's just switch to Unity.
Yeah, I think building on that question as well, what are some of the key things that you've learned from the previous project Dying Flame that is kind of helping guide you in your next current project?
For now would be that's a good question. I think because we all buried into our head into development and marketing and everything, we didn't. I mean, for most our team, definitely they did learn a lot lah. But from my end,
Do you guys hold a post-mortem for this?
we're under discussion lah about thinking about whether do we want to do a post-mortem lah. But for the time being, the only thing I can share is that, well, give me some time to think.
Okay.
I think the things that we learned and convert over to current project is more towards the production pipeline lah. How we ease up our production, how we think that we have because developing through RPG Maker and sharing files through each other is definitely not easy. So we taught ourselves how to ensure some of the assets are secure so that we don't mash up together. So those are the stuff those are the more difficult stuff that we developed from RPG Maker were more eased up in Unity lah. So that's the more simplest end of things lah.
What sort of version control works well with RPG Maker?
Yep. Yeah. Because RPG Maker, they tends to be more focused on singular ends of the project. So version control wise, we have to learn a little bit lah about how we can control each other's branch, so that when we merge together, we won't end up a lot more messier.
So you guys do use Git for this?
Yes, we have to use Git.
All right. Any tips for community building or audiences before launching the game, or maybe even after launching a game?
Well, for this end, we are still learning, but we just have to constantly keep the audience engaged, and we constantly post stuff on Facebook a lot more, just so the community see that we're still active, and we sometimes share a snippet of gameplay, just so the community will talk around like, oh, this gameplay is interesting, this and that.
Okay. Are you guys still looking for hires or interns at the moment?
At the moment, no. But in the future, for our future project, yes. But because of how tight our timeline is and everything, we will have to focus on what we have first lah.
Yeah. Oh, let's say in the future you're going to expand, and with this current team, what's the missing talent that you think would add the most impact?
That's a good question. I think at the moment, because currently the biggest interference for our development is that everyone is working from home. So everyone have to log in through Discord. We have to coordinate everything through there. So sometimes when we have questions or anything, calling through Discord can be slightly difficult, because sometimes we do not know whether a person behind the screen is focusing down his computer and work or not. So down the future after the pandemic, we do hope that at least we can rent an office lah, and then we coordinate much more better from there.
Okay. So I think we're probably at time, at 10:10 now. Thanks so much for sharing, Edison. It's been really enlightening, and hope for the best. Wish you the best for your next game.
Thank you very much.
And next, I'd like to bring forth William from Twilight Foundry Games. William,
Hello?
are you there?
Hello?
Yeah.
Am I live?
Yes, you are live.
Oh, nice. All right, let me get
Maybe-
my webcam. Oh, hello.
Hello. Let me just center you there.
Let me share my screen. If I remember how to do it. Cool. Wait, hold on. Something's wrong. All right, so hi everyone. My name is William. I am from Twilight Foundry Games. Yeah, let's go. So we were established. We just established like probably 3 weeks ago. So we are a very, very new studio. We primarily focus on story-driven games, but yeah, it's not going to be horror lah. So unlike what Eldritch and Roundtables are doing, we are going. I mean, the studio is going to be entirely a remote working studio. We try to, because we are a very new studio, it is, and the current pandemic situation, we can't really get a physical space right now. We are currently working on 2 different titles right now. One is Sunset Satellite, which is a cinematic interactive visual novel game. And it's going to be about growth and acceptance revolving around a young adult and a dog. So we made this game back in 2020, I think, during Bean Sprout Jam, hosted by Toge Productions. So Sunset Satellite has gotten some traction and praise from our peers and players who have somehow stumbled upon it on itch.io. And it is currently on early development stage. And most of the team members are working on it right now. The other project, as you can see on the bottom right, is another game. Currently, we only have a working title. It's called Project Berkin. It is a
Hold on,
3D
William.
side-scrolling-
Are you sharing your screen right now?
Yeah.
Oh, we are not seeing it.
Oh, okay. Is it there now?
Nope.
It's not. Oh no. What happened? Is it there now?
Yeah, it's
okay.
there.
How do I? Right. Yep. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Okay. So as I was saying just now, we had a game called Sunset Satellite that we are currently developing full time. It is a cinematic visual novel game revolving around a young adult and a dog. So the game is the story is about acceptance and growth. Yeah, that's all I can say right now. But you can play the demo right now on itch.io. So just search up Sunset Satellite. The other game that we are currently working on, which is currently in a very conceptual stage, it's called Project Berkin. It is going to be I wouldn't say 2D, but it's a 3D side-scrolling action adventure game about a bear cub. So currently for Project Berkin, we only have 2 person working on it right now. One narrative designer who is building the lore and crafting the plots and stuff, and a concept artist working on it. So as a small studio, we are looking to forge games one memory bit at a time. So I'm going to share with you what you can expect from us down the road. So we started Twilight Foundry 3 weeks ago. There's a story behind the opening date, which I wouldn't bore you with the details. Next is the Sunset Satellite, which we are working on, and then right after that, the team will be focusing more on. We'll move over to Project Berkin. So for these two games that we are currently developing, we actually have planned to push it not only onto the PC, but also to various consoles as well, like the Switch. I'm not sure if the Steam Deck is a viable thing yet, so we'll see. PlayStation and Xbox is definitely on the list. We are trying to work on with probably publishers who probably have the dev kits that can help us to bring on to that platforms. If you notice a small gap between the Twilight Foundry, the founding of Twilight Foundry, the team and I, we actually have had a long history. We were ex-colleagues from my previous ventures, and we've done a few games here and there, but the games that we've done was nothing like what we've received on Sunset Satellite. So after during the middle of the raging pandemic, some of us actually was thinking maybe it's time to step out of our comfort zone and maybe try something new. That's why we decided to pursue on making Sunset Satellite solely based on how well it was received, or at least to our standards, it was quite well received. We were surprised as well. Project Berkin is actually a passion project. It is something that we've always wanted to do for a very long time, but we feel that it is too big for us to bite onto it as of now. I mean, the team currently only has 8 people, I think 7 or 8 people right now, and most of them have a day job. So a lot of that's why we call ourselves Twilight Foundry. We work outside of your conventional working hours, your 9 to 5. It is because on one hand, we cannot really let go of a stable income, solely because we are still very new. We don't really have a product out yet, and it's not generating any income. So to have my teammates be working on a day job for now would be a better move. You can ask me questions about that later. So after what comes after Berkin? So actually, I have planned at least 10 years worth of plans, I guess you could say, for Twilight Foundry games. So these 2 games is not only like our only product, but we will also be having future announcements as well. I can't really reveal much about it yet, but stay tuned on our social media platforms and you'll find out. We may or may not branch out from game development. That's all I could say. So yeah, that's about a very short introduction about on us. Because we are still really, really new and there isn't much things that we can talk about right now. So I guess I can answer some questions. These are my contacts, so hit me up. I'm available almost everywhere, and every platform. And before I go, we are actually accepting internship applications right now. We currently have a very solid core team, ranging from artists, technical artists, programmer, and concept artists, narrative design. We almost have everybody except for sound. So if you're interested, we are open for internship. I think the next batch of internship season is coming up really soon, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, follow us on our social media for more updates. We have a few things lined up to announce in the coming weeks. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Very short one.
You need sound. That's your cue, Darshan. So you mentioned your team's all part-time,
Yep.
still holding like a full-time stable job.
Mhm.
How is that arrangement with your current employers?
Right. So current employers, I guess I am the employer, but so here's the thing. The arrangements for our company, our studio is slightly different. I don't pay them a monthly wage. but instead we agreed upon a sort of like a revenue share model with all of the partners that are involved in project. So it's like a project-based revenue share. So for example, like for Project Berkin, currently we have 2 person over there. For Sunset Satellite, we have 6, including me. So for the 6, we have our own arrangement on how we will split the revenue in the end. I was fortunate enough that they trust me with this, and they trust in each other as well, which is the most important thing to make this work.
Oh, well, actually, my question was, you guys have full-time jobs. You are fully employed, right? So are they aware of your side projects?
Okay, I am not working right now, so I'm clear from that. But for them,
for the other 7 unnamed ones, we shall remain unnamed.
Yes, we shall remain unnamed. They choose to remain unnamed due to that reason.
Okay.
So I am not too sure how are their arrangements with their employers. 2 of them are actually freelance. For the 2 in Project Berkin, they are freelancers, so they are their own boss. For the ones that are in Sunset Satellite, they are currently working full time. So I guess that's why they would want to remain anonymous for now.
Right. So I think obviously from your answer, that probably answers Alex's popular question of the night. How did you get your funding? And follow up to that is, of course, are you seeking funding right now?
Yes. I'm not too keen on getting like venture capitalists kind of funding. Due to the reason that it is quite stressful for me. I feel, I don't know, it's just me, to be able to be tied down in that kind of sense. I don't really prefer that way, but I mean, if the conditions and terms are great, then we can talk about it.
Are you guys a registered entity, Sandir Berhad, or it's a partnership between eight guys?
Currently, it's a sole proprietorship. So I'm currently setting the base for everybody, so that when the time is right and when we start generating income, they can jump from wherever they are, I guess, if they want to jump.
Okay.
But who knows, maybe like 3 years down the road, they feel like it's comfortable, they can juggle between like side gig and their employers are okay with it, then it's up to them.
Chanza asks, is Berkin a spiritual successor of Milestone? Maybe could give us a context. What is Milestone?
Okay, so Milestone was a game that my previous team and I developed when I was working with Glow Production. It is a 2D platformer. We don't really have... It's just like a boss run kind of thing. Like once you go start the game, you immediately fight the boss. But for some reason, we submitted to level up to the SEA Game Awards in 2019, and we didn't know how we got into the finalists. And from there, because of like the event side of Level Up KL back then, when we still can gather and have events, we actually got a lot of people coming in to play our game and give us really good feedbacks, and they were actually looking forward to it. So I guess Shanza must have played the game a few times, and I think he has been bugging me as well. So Berkin can be considered as a spiritual successor, because the IP for Milestone is currently owned by Glow. So we cannot possibly just like use the same name and risk getting a lawsuit. So so it's true. It is a spiritual successor to Milestone. So whoever that has played Milestone back in 2019 at Level Up KL, you can expect something similar or better than what you've seen in the Milestone.
Let's dig into that a bit. You were a lead game designer, if I remember, at Glow Productions. Why did you leave?
I was actually retrenched due to the pandemic, and there isn't much I could say about that. Right after that, I went and joined Persona Theory as their PR and marketing manager for about 9 months. And then, yeah, now I'm starting my own thing.
Okay. Was there anything from Glow or Persona Theory that kind of helped inform with this current studio?
Yeah, I mean, the two employments that I had set the stone for the foundation of my capability or my decision to make to start this studio. So as a lead game designer, I was also the acting producer as well, because the boss is quite busy. It is so I had to take over some of the things. So I was handling things like business development and talking to publishers, doing events and stuff. And then when I moved on to Persona Theory was when I started to delve more into the PR marketing, the business development side. So we were talking about talking to publishers, people porting our games, reading contracts, arranging partnership with we actually talked to Sambal Sunda. I'm pretty sure this is out already by now. Back in Persona Theory, to collaborate with them for the soundtrack. So those I did some of that as well. And with all those knowledge and how I see things being done in different studios, I felt that maybe I should do something about it. Does that make sense?
Does I've got a question here that's actually quite interesting pertaining to your slides, because you have sort of games planned for all of 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a question here asking, how do you gauge the amount of time that you can spend, that you have and are able to spend for each game, to be able to confidently say that you have that 10-year plan for games?
So right, so it won't be like every other year we will be releasing one game. So each of the game might take a little bit longer than the others. So some will take 2 or 3 years. So how I'm able to gauge is through experience and how well I understand my team. It is also how I am able to see or sort of have a foresight on what is needed down the road. Maybe say for example, Berkin is going to be a slightly bigger project than Sunset Satellite, and I know what I want in Berkin, and from there I can find or can start to find those kind of different people to fill in roles in order to make this work. This ties in a lot to experience and your project management kind of things. So I guess through sense and through experience, I was able to do and plan out 10 years worth of content lined up for Twilight Foundry.
Are these games focused on a very specific genre?
Yeah, it's going to be story based for sure. We have a resident story writer / narrative designer that is pretty good with some stories. So yeah, it's going to be story based, and it's going to involve a bit of action. But more importantly, the main selling point of all these games is going to be very heartfelt stories, very wholesome, sometimes will give you a punch in the gut and make you question your life choices maybe sometimes.
You had a plan for the next game, Berkin. What was the planned launch date again?
Right, so for Sunset Satellite, we don't really have a release window yet because we just started not too long ago. We are currently planning out the whole storyline from A to Z, and then we will see how much what is needed, what kind of manpower is needed in order to succeed. But I am planning it to have it released around end of next year to the early 2023. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be a while. For Berkin, it's going to, the full production is going to start once Sunset Satellite is done, or maybe like almost done, and then some of the members are quite free, then we can shift it over there. But in Twilight Foundry, we don't really everybody's don't really stick to one project. They can hop around, help out one another. So I guess you can call it a cross-functional team.
Is there a reason why you'd split it to two different games rather than just focusing on getting one out first?
Right. So it's due to the capabilities and the what they can do best. Basically, the skill set. So the current team for Sunset Satellite is the OG team. So, and then the narrative designer and the concept artist that's currently working on Berkin is more towards like the fantasy kind of style that they do. So that's why we sort of like split it into two first, and then focus a lot on Sunset Satellite. Once that's out, then we will shift the team to Berkin. Also, the team that's currently working on Sunset Satellite right now has played Milestone and really loved it, and that is the main reason why they want to join or agreed to join Twilight Foundry, is because so that they can work on the other game, which is Berkin.
I don't think you guys mentioned the engine you guys are using.
Right. So we are currently using Unity. That's also because due to the skill set of our programmer.
Okay. If I remember correctly, wasn't Milestone an Unreal? No, it was Unity, but then you guys switched to an Unreal Engine for other games, right?
Yeah. So Milestone was made in Unity because we feel that it's a lot faster when it comes to making smaller games. Unreal has a lot of according to my programmer, has a lot of like back end stuff that needs to be sorted out. We did that. We used Unreal for our in-house project back in Glow.
Okay. Let's probe for questions. Self-funded from the day job? No. Yeah. That is. I think a couple of questions here have already been answered before. Yeah. I just want to know also. I guess the end goal is for the games to make enough money so that perhaps one day the core team can leave to join Twilight Foundry as like a permanent member, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. There's questions I want to ask about your team, but I guess it's you have to keep it in stealth mode right now.
Yeah.
Could you talk to... I don't think you actually explained much about the game itself, though. Well, fortunately, it's not horror. I know it's an action sort of an action RPG. I believe when I met you last time, you described Milestone as like a 2D Dark Souls. Is that correct?
I would say it would be right now. It will be a 2D Bloodborne. But I guess Dark Souls, they're both almost the same genre. They're Souls-like. Yeah.
I think maybe Hollow Knight would describe it best, right?
Yes, Hollow Knight and the new Ender Lilies that just came out. Those are the two main inspiration for Berkin.
Okay. Couple questions have poured in. How experienced are the members of the team? Are you able to talk about that?
I can say that they're currently working in the industry itself. Some of them are more senior than the other. We have, accumulatively, we have about 10 plus years of experience, but that's subjective. The most senior member has about 4 years in the industry. The youngest one has about 1 or 2 years. So between there.
Okay. If someone would want to start a game studio, what advice would you give?
It depends. Are you currently a game developer, or are you currently in the industry? If yes, if you are still new to the industry, maybe work a little bit longer. Work in different studios to see how they run things and what are their methods. Why do they do certain things? Like some studio may have a different approach in game design and game development in general than the other ones. So you may want to work a few more studios before deciding whether or not you want to do it. And ultimately, if you really want to do it in the end, ask yourself why. What is the main goal? Is it just to make your own game so that you can tell everybody that I've made my own game and this is my baby? Or do you have like a higher cause to fight for? For us, because of how much negative news that we've been seeing over the past 2 weeks about inequality and gender issues, part of the reason why I started Twilight Foundry was to challenge the current status quo in not only in Malaysia but also in Southeast Asia. So there isn't much going on, not as bad as like Activision Blizzard or like Ubisoft, but actually Ubisoft Singapore hits quite near to home. So I mean, if I feel that if we're getting influenced by Western studios, that this may also happen. I plan to not have those kind of issues or address them early on in Twilight Foundry. So currently in Twilight Foundry itself, out of the 8 people that is currently including me, that we have 3 women that are currently working on the game. I wanted to get more to make sure that it's basically equalized, but can't really afford that as of now. But we plan to have those kind of we plan to also give like opportunities to them. Like everybody in the studio has a voice. Like just because I am the studio owner doesn't mean that my decision is the ultimate decision that you have to follow. Everybody can give their own decisions, give their own opinions, and all opinions will be debated. Doesn't matter who is it from. Like if you're in Twilight Foundry, you are a person. We don't really care whether you are like Chinese, Indian, Malay, Bangladesh, or like your gender alignment, you're bi, you're trans. We don't really care about that. Like as long as it can produce work and fight for the similar cause, then we won't really have a lot of trouble.
I know you shared a slide about internship early on in your last slide. What about an additional partner to your 8-man and women team?
Right.
Is that something you're open to?
Yeah. We're actually looking for a visual developer / storyboard artist to work on, because a lot of the games will be quite cinematic. Something along the lines of like No Longer Home, Necrobarista. I can't really think of on the top of my head, but it will be quite cinematic when it comes to the cutscenes. So we want to find someone. Oh, right, and then the environment as well. So we need someone that can help us with cinematography stuff and storyboarding. So we are looking for someone, preferably a female, so that we can equalize the gender count in our studio. But if you're a male, anybody that can do it, feel free to talk to me. You have my details, or I can just PM me anywhere, anytime.
All right, and I think with that we are almost time. Is there anything else? Is there any shout outs you want to make, William?
Yeah, thanks to Sean for giving us this opportunity. I hope to hear from you guys soon, I guess. Just drop me an email, drop me a message on Discord. I'll be happy to talk to you guys. I can share some stories if you guys want to know more.
All All right. Thanks for sharing, William.
All right. Thanks, Sean. Thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye. And next is Play Interactive. Chi Leong or Gary?
Yeah, I'll be presenting.
Okay.
Right.
Pass the floor to you.
Sorry?
Oh, it's over. Yeah, over to you.
sorry. Just a moment. All right. Can you guys see?
Yep, you're live.
All right. Sorry. I guess I put it. Okay. So, hi everyone, and thanks for Sean to give me the chance to present our fund. So, hi everyone. My name is Chi Leong. So, I come from Play Interactive. So, right now, I'm presenting about our game development core investment fund. But before that, allows me to just shortly introduce ourselves. So, Play Interactive have been in the business, video game distribution business for almost over 10 years. So, we are the sole distributor for Sony PlayStation software in Malaysia and Singapore. And we also do some distribution business for the hardware, like the video game accessories hardware. So in 2018, so we, instead of just doing video game distribution business, so we decided to extend into the publishing business as well. So Squaresoft is our publishing label for that matter. So right now we are very much focused on, I would say, console. Yeah. We also plan to expand into PC and mobile, but right now we are very much focused on console. So this is just an overview for some of the books that we have published in the past. So we have some studios from Southeast Asia, and we also have some studios from overseas as well. Yeah, this is just some of the books titles that we have published. So some of the lineup coming in this year and also next year. Yeah. So what's the objective that we are setting up this game development core investment fund? So generally is to, I would say, to nurture the local talents and bring the creations into the eyesight of international audience. Because as we know, I know there are a lot of, actually, to be honest, before I get into this fund, I didn't realize that there are so many game artists and game designers in Malaysia. So, and until I start setting up this fund, we start setting up this fund only when I realized that, actually there are so many game designers in Malaysia. So we want to support the creation of Malaysia-owned IP and assist them to commercialize the ideas. Because based on my past experience, I would say, so most of the time when I hear the Malaysia contribution in game design, I would say for me personally, it's always on creating the environment, the assets, not so much, I think, on the main creation part. So I think it's I think we do have the talents there, but we don't have the opportunities to commercialize the idea. So hopefully with the fund setup, we will also encourage other parties to join in to set up their own game fund to support the local industry. So for our core investment fund here, we have the total of 1 million funds that will be provided. So each project fund is capped at a maximum of 100K. It's a one-to-one matching. So only digital games are accepted. So it's either console, PC, or mobile platforms. So we accept both new ideas or projects that you are currently developing. And we also accept projects, games that have been released, but looking to be ported to another platform. For example, from PC to console, console to PC, mobile to console, etc. Yeah. So what do we get in return? So in return for funding your game, so Play Interactive, you acquire the worldwide publishing rights for the game. And one of the criteria is that the project must be completed within 2 years from the date the game is won. Yeah, this is just some application criteria. So your company must be incorporated in Malaysia. More than 51% of the ownership vested by Malaysian. Of course, your company is not subject to winding up order. And prior to this, you have not entered into any publishing agreement with other parties for publishing deals for a game. Yeah, this is a summary of the application process. But for those who have applied for MDEC grant before, this is a very similar application process. So you send in your details, then it will evaluate and meet up with you and see if you are selected for the fund. So right now, the submission closing date is on 31st August. So the pitching session will be on September, temporary, if there's no changes. Yeah, some of the submission documents that we need, but you can always look out for our website here. There we have all the details and information. Or if you have any inquiries, you can always email to us at publishing@plain-ready-for-Asia. Yeah. All right. That's all for me. Thank you, everyone. Back to you, Sean.
Right, cool. Thanks for sharing, Jiliang. Got a couple of questions from myself.
Yeah, sure.
You mentioned one-to-one matching. Is that reimbursement terms or one-to-one as in the developer forks out 100K and you match that?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
The second one, yeah.
And you mentioned the game has to be completed within 2 years. What happens if it's not completed in 2 years?
Okay, so let's say you can't finish the game within 2 years, then definitely you have to recoup the funding back to us. Yeah.
Okay, so that will come back from.
You have to pay back us. Yeah, because this is part of the criteria for us to fund your game.
Okay, so I'm guessing that will just be a change in your rev share model. So instead of like a 50-50, becomes a 70-30 until it's recouped.
For you mean revenue sharing?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a rev share, right? Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I just talk about the revenue sharing. So first of all, first we have to recoup the 100K that we invest in you. So after that, we will start for the revenue sharing. So revenue sharing, I would say in general it will be 7-3, 7 to the developer, 3 to the publishers. But it could be on case by case basis. But 7-3 I think it's the standard for industry. Yeah.
Oh, it depends. I've heard a lot of 7-3 but reversed or 50-50.
Yeah, there's a lot of cases. You can have 5-5, 6-4, a lot. But we are currently practicing 7-3, but like I say, it's on a case by case basis. I think we can talk about that if we manage to have a further discussion. Yeah.
Okay. In terms of, so basically Scrysoft will be the publisher, right?
Yeah, Scrysoft is our publishing label.
Will there be any support as a publisher? Of course, you guys will be handling marketing, and that's outside of that 100K budget, right?
Oh, okay. So for support, let's say like porting, we do have partners for porting. So let's say if you don't have the resources to do the porting on your own, then we can definitely assist you on that.
Okay.
But if you have the resources to do so, our personal recommendation is that it will be better to do it on your own because you know the know-how. Yeah. But this is on the fact that if you have the resources to do so. Yeah.
So Scrysoft provides the porting service. I'm assuming that cost is recouped from the revenue.
The cost
will be borne by Scrysoft.
It's also on the base cases.
Okay.
Basis also. Yeah.
If the developer were to port it themselves, but they don't have the dev kit, do you guys have the resources to purchase the dev kit? Will Scrysoft be paying for all the hardware needed for that?
Oh, okay. Understood. We do have dev kit, so probably we can loan the dev kit to the developers. Yeah. I mean, I know it's sometimes quite difficult to get the dev kit. Yeah, for a smaller scale project.
Okay. Do you guys do mobile publishing as well?
Right now we are very much focused on PC,
Premium.
but we also, if you have a mobile project that you want to do, we also can help you on that.
Okay.
It's just that our focus is very much on console, but we do accept mobile and PC as well.
Right. So just to be clear on the earlier question, the marketing
Okay.
aspect will be done, of course, completely by the publishers, correct? Or is it part of the 100K budget?
No, it's the marketing will be out of the 100K budget.
All right. Let me just see if there's any questions. Is there a limited amount of studios is there a quota you are looking to invest in this year? Number of studios. So 100K, yes, yeah, it's 10 studios, right?
10, yeah. It's around 10.
Is that expected to increase the next year?
Yeah, we definitely, because this, to be honest, this is our first time doing fun.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have a lot of things to learn. But we definitely want to, if you see a lot of potentials there, then we definitely will want to have a bigger pool of fun for our next game fund. Yeah.
Would you guys acquire student game titles?
Sorry, acquire
Student, would you guys consider student game titles? Let's say maybe they're still studying, or could be one more
yeah.
semester to go.
Oh, okay. Or do you mean their project for their school?
I wouldn't say project for their school. Actually, this ties in quite nicely with the C Game Jam that's happening next month.
Yeah.
So the C Game Jam happens on the 10th to 12th, and by that time you'll probably see at least, I think we usually have like 16 to 20 games. And last year we actually partnered with Game Jam Plus, which has an effort to mentor them to help commercialize their game. That's something we don't have this year, but I think we could maybe mimic a similar model where they could eventually. I think your pitching happens on the 20th September. Am I correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
It's around that period.
So I think this is perfect for you game jammers. Just churn out a game and just pitch it to Chi Leong.
Okay.
Let's say those games, some of those games are from students.
Yeah. I think we are fine with that. So as long as we see the potential and that game is good, we don't mind. Yeah.
Nice. How about, a question from Buzz. What if a project has a bigger production budget, like above 200K? Will there still be a 1-to-1 matching rule? Would you consider over 200K? Let's say the project is extremely promising.
I see. In that case, I think we are open for discussion. So we will not doubt any possibilities. So of course we will need to talk about that, but I would say there is a possibility that we will up more than 100K for the project if you see the potential there.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't worry, just sign in. We can talk later.
You guys are based in KL, right?
Yeah, we are based in KL. So we also have office in Singapore. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Oh yes, I saw you guys are publishing Holy Potatoes. So great guys.
Oh yeah. We are working for them with them for the PS4 port right now. The Daylight Studio, right?
Yeah. Okay, surprisingly not a lot of questions from our game developers. Anyone looking for funding, please look for Chi Leong. Is there anything else you guys... What about the panelists here? Joseph, William, Edison. You guys are looking for funding. Any questions for Chi Leong?
Oh, I'm guessing the process is almost similar to what MDEC is doing, correct?
Yes. Except that MDEC is giving grant, but ours is fun. Yeah. But
Right.
it's very, I would say it's very similar.
Okay, I'm talking about the process, so I guess.
Yeah. Correct.
Right. So, is there anywhere? Where can I find out more information about this?
You can check out our website. Maybe I should share the link here.
Yeah.
Just a moment.
think for now. Okay. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious. I think right now it should be a good time to send out well, proposal and everything, right? So, is there any requirement for what kind of games you're trying to find? Like, are you specifically finding action type games or anything, or
You mean the genre?
Yes, a genre.
We don't have any particular preference, so any game we do.
I see. And is there any deadline for if let's or how to say any part of a production period that you want to see in your in
You mean your milestone?
yes.
Okay. We don't have a very specific guideline for milestone, so as long as the project is completed within 2 years. But if you are submitting the application, then you definitely like to have a look at your milestone. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So this is actually publishing rights for just one game, right? So I'm assuming there will be some kind of a contract that we have to sign, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Right. Okay. So it's just for a single game, and then for a one-time project plans.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Doesn't affect your upcoming games.
Right. So does it am I correct to say does it have to be like a port, or like if it's just for PC right now, then porting later? But how would that what kind of difference would that make actually?
Sorry, you mean if you are releasing on PC right now, but the console port will come later?
Yes. So like, because are you guys like more focused on games that will be ported to other consoles or PC games?
I would say we'll have a slightly preference over game that will be ported to console as well. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Because like for example, our studio right now, we're just focused very much on just getting the PC version up and running.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, of course, we do need funds for that as well. So I'm surprised. Question is whether that would be something that is possible. Or...
I think that's also possible.
Right. Okay.
Got a couple of. Anything else, Joseph?
No.
Okay, I've
I
got.
have one question. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
One more question. Let's say we've already published our game. Is it possible to submit our games to publish for other platforms?
Yeah, correct. Again, we also accept games that already released, but you want to port it to another platform.
Okay, nice. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Got questions from the chat.
All right, sure.
Do you guys have a studio in partnership to produce any in-house games? I'm not sure what that really means.
I mean, I think it means that do we partner with other studios that provide to develop our own games that owned by us?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what they meant.
Okay. Right now we don't have any partnership with any studios to produce in-house game. We are very much focused on just publishing right now.
Okay. I think Kijon is asking a question that we probably answered. What platform for games are you looking for?
Yeah, PC, mobile, console.
PC, mobile, console, anything but. Oh, you mentioned mobile. It's
yeah.
Okay, but it's still premium, right?
Yeah.
Premium only. What project stages are you looking to fund? Prototype, vertical slice, pitch works, or game jam?
We are very much open to all kinds of stages. Yeah, like I mentioned, if either you have just the new ideas, or is in the development stage, we are okay with that. Yeah.
Okay. To answer Alex's question, yes, the stream will be available after this session. I think it will take some time to process, and then we'll publish it on the IGDA's page. Go
I
ahead.
have one more question, actually.
Yeah.
So the matching fund, right? So does that include funds that's already been invested into the company, or
Yes.
it has to be future?
No. It can be the fund that you have already invested.
Right. Okay. As long as it's up to 100K. Right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Right.
Okay, I've got an interesting question from Kijon. I'm rephrasing this question here a bit. It says the publisher will acquire publishing rights to the game. In your pitch, in your deck, you mentioned that it can be a game that's already published, and then we just port it and republish on another platform.
Yeah.
Does that include the already published platform?
In that case, no.
Okay, so the developer retains the rights to that particular platform that they've already published.
Yeah.
If they want to rework it so that it's republished under you, is that something that
Yeah, it's
you can
possible.
discuss as well? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think yeah, it's possible, but usually I don't think they will do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you have to take down your game and republish again.
Well, I think it's probably been done before. I think.
Yeah.
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 That happened to Ammo Box, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Involuntarily.
They had to. They had no choice. Yeah. Okay, I think we've exhausted all the questions in the chat. So have I, actually.
Yeah, I think, yeah, any questions they can just look for us at the website or just email to us. Yeah,
Okay.
no issue.
I think someone's looking for a job here. Are you guys accepting interns?
Right now, not. Okay, if they are interested, they can send email to us as well. We also do accept interns.
Okay. And I believe all the other companies here also, I think they're open to some
Yeah,
additional
yeah,
manpower. So send your resumes over. So I guess that should be it. I don't think there's any more questions. So I'll start to wrap up. Thanks, Chi Leong. Thanks for sharing the funding efforts. Really appreciate it. I think it's a really good initiative, and all of you guys in the chat and all three of you guys here, I think should really give it to really consider it. And like I think what I really like about the slide is really encouraging more investors to actually participate, and it just really would help with the growth of the game industry. Thank you so much.
Yeah. If not, it's always MDAT.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So to wrap up, guys, follow the speakers, and also, where is Eldridge? Well, yeah, Eldridge Games is also here somewhere. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Joseph. It was here just now. Follow the speakers on Facebook, or Twitter, or wherever they're at. I will also republish this this stream, so you'll be able to review it again and find our speakers and their contact information if you need. Also follow IGDA Malaysia or reach out to me at igdamalaysia@gmail.com. Do follow our Facebook page, fb.com/IGDA Malaysia, or you can join our Discord channel that's mostly managed by Duncan, our talented sound designer, audio engineer there. And of course, see Game Jam 2021, just to make that game just in time for the pitch to Play Interactive, get your games published, get your games funded, and start a game company like our three panelists here. And of course, one last thing is I'm still looking for volunteers to help with IGDA Malaysia. So if you're a passionate game developer looking to push the industry forward, do reach out to me. And thank you very much. That's all for tonight. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, speakers, and everyone in chat. Good night.
Thank you, Sean.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.